Hey everyone, it's Linnea for LDRS Creative, and we are going to be looking at the Thank You Flowers 4x6 stamps and their coordinating dies. The fun thing about this floral stamp set is that it's different from others in that you can stamp all 4 of the flowers all at once, and there are 4 different layers to these flowers. You're going to just stamp and layer them and then also die cut them all at once. This thank you sentiment that's in the Thank You Flowers 4x6 stamps also has a coordinating die and a shadow die. I love when LDRS does that. It's a great way to add some dimension to your card, and we'll be using that on today's project. So I'm grabbing the flowers and the leaves. Both of them have multiple images on one stamp, and I'm going to be inking them up. I wanted to make sure there was enough room on my panel to do 2 layers of flowers and 2 of the greenery, and there is. So I went ahead and removed those greenery stamps, and I'm just going to stamp the first layer of the flowers, and I'm using, one's going to be pink and one's going to be blue. So I'm just using various shades of LDRS Creative Hybrid ink, and then I'm going to stamp the greenery. Olive Branch is the green that I'm using, and it is my most used green in my ink collection. It's just such a pretty color. Now these leaves are only 1 layer, and then there's some little lines to add to the individual leaves. So I went ahead and stamped those multiple times just so I made sure to get a really saturated color. I have the second layer for the flowers now, and that's going to add some little lines to the petals. So I'm stamping that in a slightly darker pink and a slightly darker blue. And then I'm going to switch out, and I'm going to be bringing in the third layer, and that's going to stamp the centers of the flowers. So for that I'm using a super dark blue and then a darker pink as well. If you kind of wanted to make this look more cohesive, you could just use the same color ink as you used on the second layer, and then the centers and the lines would be the same color, but I decided to go a little bit darker. For the little dot accents in the center of the flowers, I'm using Raven Hybrid ink, so going really dark here and just accenting with a bit of black. Now it's time to do some die cutting, and just like how I stamped all 4 of these floral images and then all of these greenery images all at once, I'm going to be able to die cut them all at once using the Thank You Flowers coordinating dies. I love when LDRS does this. I also stamped that thank you sentiment, and I cut that out. And off camera, I did also cut a black shadow for the thank you sentiment. These leaves, you have those 2 little bunches that are kind of more like vines, and then those 4 leaves are going to pop out individually. Let's start working on the background. LDRS Creative has just introduced some new spotlight stencils, and these are going to be a staple in my craft room, and I think they'll be in yours as well. I have used this circle spotlight stencil quite a few times. It's one of my favorites, but I wanted to show you here that there are etch marks on the stencil so that you can cut various card sizes and either have them in a portrait style or a landscape style, and you're going to be able to line them up with those etch lines so that you can get this circle right in the center of your card. And there are 4 spotlight designs. There's the circle, the square, the rectangle, and the heart. They all work the same way, but I thought the circle would work best with my design today, so that's why I'm using that one. I'm coming in with just a light application of Marina Madness ink, and I have an A2 card panel lined up, and I'm just going to be ink blending this Marina Madness right into the center of my card. Once I get that saturated to the color I want, I took that circle negative piece, and that's included in all of the shapes. So whichever spotlight stencil you get, you're going to get this negative piece. I sprayed it with a temporary adhesive, and I put that right over top of that circle. And now I'm going to add just a little bit of banana cream pie ink. You see I have a little bit of cross-contamination on my ink pad. It's nothing to worry about. My ink is still coming out nice and yellow. And I'm just going to blend off from the inside of that circle and kind of come to the outside. You can use either of these stencils separately, just the spotlight stencil or the negative piece, but I thought it would be fun to use them together and create that kind of halo effect. So now I have this blue circle in the center of my card with that yellow halo kind of just giving it a little bit of a lift, but it's 1 layer. I think it's really fun. I'm going to just start building my card now. I went back and I stamped More flowers. So you saw me stamp the blue and the pink on camera. I went back and I stamped some yellow so that that would kind of blend with that yellow halo that I added. And then I'm just going to arrange these flowers and the greenery pieces with that thank you sentiment right in the center. Now, included in the thank you flowers 4x6 stamps, there are these super fun accent images. So I used Raven Hybrid ink and I just stamped some so that they would peek out behind my floral images. Then I arranged my flowers the way I wanted them, and I'm grabbing some masking tape. This is a trick that I do all the time because it takes me a long time to arrange my images. Once I get them arranged, I pick them up with some masking tape, I add foam adhesive to the back, and then I can put them back down exactly where I wanted them. I trimmed that panel down just a little bit and added it to a black card base. This card is finished. I hope you enjoyed looking at some of these new products from the November 2022 collection. Check out our YouTube channel and our inspiration blog for more fun projects. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!